Hey, and welcome to the Weed Out, where we weed out the nonsense and talk about the bullshit happening in our backyard. I'm Spencer Fox Peterson with my co host, as always.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Maybuti.
We're here to share our story about the Solidarity Economy Festival that was Saturday, June 10th, 2023. It was hosted in Pittsfield and organized by one of our dear friends, Michael Hitchcock. I guess, how are you today, Joanna?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I had a lot of fun on Saturday, and I'm excited to share with the audience our experience. And we were able to corral some folk who were willing to speak into a microphone and tell us about what makes them feel safe and what brings them joy.
Completely agree. I think it was fantastic that Roots and Dreams and Mustard Seeds, along with other organizers throughout the state, felt that it was a good idea to come out to Pittsfield and bring that great energy to the common. And I know that we didn't stay for the second day at BCC, but it does look like I did take a peek at the social medias. Michael's wife, Nicole, does such a fantastic job of updating the social media that it looks like Sunday was a success too. And everyone all around for the more focused teach-ins had a really good experience too. But it was really nice being outside. It was great weather. I had a great time too, meeting not only people that were part of the tabling or part of the organization setup, but just random people that roamed in. So that was nice too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see some familiar faces, familiar organizations. Neighbor to Neighbor was represented there, as we've had Katie Talbot on, who is a representative of Neighbor Neighbor. She wasn't there, but people that knew Katie were there. And shout out to Massive Bookshop. If anybody's looking for books, they're great. Andrew was over there, and then a whole bunch of new people we had never met before. So, including some podcasters.
Yeah, that was fun. So it was a really good time overall for sure.
We put together a little sampling of what people that would make them feel safe, and what safety means to them and what brings them joy. So enjoy hearing from some very warm and welcoming voices that had the courage to speak to people, strangers with a microphone. So shout out to them.
So I'm here with Jack from Worcester, and he's part of Red Star Collective, and he's answering some of the questions that we have today for everyone at the Solidarity Economy Festival and Gathering. And we first would like to know what makes you feel safe.
I would say boundaries would make me feel safe. Like when you interact with people and you talk with them, you let them know that this is what you manage and this is what I expect from you and this is what I expect from myself and this is what I'm going to do to help myself out. I have found that generally speaking, I think some people struggle with boundaries for whatever reason, either because they're trying to please people or for whatever reason. But what makes me feel safe is boundaries.
I like that answer. I also really like boundaries, and I agree. We sometimes struggle with them, but they keep us safe. And so the second question we're having people answer today is what brings you joy, and it can be something small or something complex.
Well, simply put, I've always loved to build things. I have this product here, a walnut jug out. I don't know how many of you are, tobacco or leafy green fans, but yeah, I like to make things. I like to build things. It's great. I get a great satisfaction of making products that people love and that they can have joy in, like I have joy in them. Um, what I'm really proud of is that I'm a carpenter and I make things.
That's fantastic. Thank you for coming out and talking with us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're sitting here with Michael Hitchcock from Roots and Dreams and Mustard Seeds, and he helped organize this wonderful festival, the Solidarity Economy Festival, and he sat down with us to tell us what brings him joy and what safety means to him.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, what brings me joy? That's such a tricky question for me, and I forgot you were going to ask, so I have to spitball it. It's little things. When I brings me joy, it's pretty complicated because a lot of the times I'm not even shooting for joy. I'm shooting for neutrality, just like coasting, feeling nice. But I get really absolute joy out of unexpected help, unexpected cooperation, seeing people work together. I'm not even joking, but that really brings a joyful little tear to my eye. I love so much beyond words the moment when somebody realizes something. When I see a moment of learning in someone or myself, that is maybe the most joyous thing on this earth for me. That moment where somebody gets it or where I get it. Where, whoa, oh, now I got it. Love that. Those are
And what does safety mean to you?
great question. For me, like real genuine safety is this condition where I do not have to think very hard about myself. I don't have to think about where I'm at, who I am, how I'm coming across. I get to just put down my guards and my boundaries and just be. That's ultimate safety. I could get into all that weird, like what physical safety means. I'll tell you, cops don't make me safe since I'm just as an aside. But like true safety is when I could just put my hair down.
Thank you so much for sharing.
And then the joy aspect, I guess. I mean, do those things coincide at all, or like, do you like? We were just talking to Kevin, and he gave the same answer for both. Actually, the ownership, collective ownership for him on his side was what also brings him joy. But I mean, again, it's a broad. It could be as easy as gardening.
I definitely, because I'm selling books, I don't particularly get joy from selling books, but I definitely do from talking with people about them, and that's the thing that brings me joy. You know, within this limited sphere of this project is just being able to connect with people over books, whether they end up buying them or not.
Yeah, the selling of the book isn't the goal. It's the ideas in the book. So excellent. Do you want to say anything about your project at all? And
sure. Yeah, so the Massive Bookshop is a local online anti-profit abolitionist bookstore. It's volunteer run, and the intention is to provide like a local alternative in Western Mass to Amazon, so that people don't have to shop on Amazon. But we're going even further than that, and trying to support the most vulnerable people in our communities through actually bailing them out of jail. So the profits that we're generating from book sales are right now going to the Decarcerate Western Mass Bail Fund, their bailout project. And we've just kind of gotten, increasingly involved not only with that project, but also with sending books to people who are incarcerated, which is becoming increasingly difficult. And so it's an anti-business, but it's also kind of being a business provides us with certain access or privileges, because jails are less likely to reject books if it's coming from a business. So we're just kind of occupying this weird space between being sort of kind of like a radical project, but then also just being a business.
it's hard a lot of times to not coexist in the business space. I remember when I worked at Barnes and Noble as a teenager, I was shocked. Just the process of getting books into we'd have family members coming in to send, and I'd send the books out, and it was just like something I hadn't thought about before that. But I'm glad that's a big part of what you're doing now. So. Hey all, this is Caleb, field correspondent today here in Pittsfield. We're going to go for the Solidarity Economy Festival and Gathering at the Common in Pittsfield. I was talking to Kevin earlier from Works Printing, which is a union co-op and 100% worker owned. I'm going to go see if he has anything to say. So Kevin, I don't want to take too much of your time, but do you want to tell us a little bit about what Works Printing does?
Sure. So I guess foundationally, we're a worker-owned union cooperative, and operationally, we make merchandise. We print and fulfill merchandise for organizations who care about the workers who do the work that make their merch. And as a labor union, we print union bugs. So a lot of people and organizations want to affiliate with labor. So we do both bulk orders for them, but our specialty is really on-demand printing and fulfillment for web stores.
Excellent. So seeing as we're out on the common for the Solidarity Festival, the Weed Out is just asking people. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, what makes you feel?
Well, and the second part was what makes me feel joy, and it's kind of odd to me because it's the same thing. So, and that's ownership, shared ownership, collective ownership, and I don't know why it's disparaged so much in our society, mostly by people who seem to only think of the I and not think of the we. So, working in a cooperative, helping others find their path to work in cooperatives and having ownership in the work that they do, that makes me feel safe doing, getting to work in a ownership position, and it brings me a great amount of joy too. So.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm here with Joelle from the ICA group. I'm at the Solidarity Economy Festival and Gathering on the Common, and you're going to answer 2 questions for me, thankfully. So what does safety mean for you?
Wow, what does safety mean to me? Safety to me means freedom to be myself in any situation where being myself doesn't hurt anyone, and that I, for being myself, do not get hurt upon, and so that can include in an indoor, outdoor, in the mountains, in the bathroom. To me, wherever I can be myself without causing anyone pain or pain on myself, sounds good.
I love that, and I completely agree. And now I guess this may be easy for you, but maybe not, because there are so many little or big things that bring people joy. So could you tell me what brings you joy, and I guess in a nutshell?
What brings me joy? That is a very deep question, but at the heart of it is music, creativity. Anything that is creativity brings me joy, because it is expressing some kind of inner truth. So if I'm expressing again that inner truth, I'm good. Like right now, I'm experiencing joy. So thank you.
And thank you. I completely agree, because when we can be our full selves and not harm others, it's super joyful. Thank you, Joelle.
You bless you.
Okay, so we're here with Akil at the Solidarity Economy Festival, and we're talking to people about what brings them joy and what safety means to them. So Akil, please tell us, what brings you joy?
People. I will say that. I'll say being with people, having conversations, talking about stuff that's important and talking about stuff that's not important, like, anime or Marvel movies or whatever. Yeah.
So community.
Community, absolutely, yeah.
Building community, maintaining community, and hopefully that leads to what makes you feel safe.
That's a good question.
Or what does safety look like to you? It doesn't necessarily mean you feel safe at the moment, but what does safety look like to you?
I guess safety looks like a place where, the basics are taken care of, where you don't have to, you can go as far as you want to go, but you know you have a baseline to fall back on. You have people, you have resources, you have a community that will have your back. I think that's
Housing, food, water.
housing, food, water.
So, do you have anything else you'd like to shout out while you're here, and we can post it on the website?
I have a Substack if I can shout that out. On1.substack.com. We try to talk about political economy, race, a lot of things that you guys talk about. And I also write for Jacobin. You can Akil Vix. You can check me out there as well.
Excellent. We look forward to doing that. We'll definitely link you in the episode notes.
Hey there, it's Joanna from the Weedout. I'm here with Noah McKenna, and I'm asking him what I'm asking everyone today. What keeps you safe? And I'm gonna let you answer that first, Noah.
Safe for me is about trusting the people behind you, people you're with. Yeah, it's making sure, knowing you have people have your back, you have people's back, and you can look after each other together.
I love that, like community.
Yeah, like neighbors who look after just the way that people do it everywhere. Just look out for your people, look out for your neighbors, for your friends, for your family, even if you have beef. But ultimately, it's on us to keep ourselves safe because not really other good options.
I completely agree, and I'm glad to be your neighbor. We found out you're close by to us, actually, in Leverett. So I'm so thankful to have a neighbor that thinks that way like me. And I was wondering, what brings you joy? And it can be a small thing, or I know there are also many things, but what is one thing that brings you joy?
I'll have to go with chestnuts. Yeah, I grow chestnuts. They're amazing little natural packets of food that grow literally on trees. They suck in carbon from the environment. They build soil, and they keep people fed. So they bring me a lot of joy these days. I've been planting them like mad up and down the valley. So Big River Chestnuts, come check us out on 47 in Sunderland, especially in September, October.
Awesome, and that's Big River Chestnuts for anyone who's interested. Thank you so much, Noah.
Thank you.
All right, I am here with
Alexa from Mahogany Forum.
And it's Joanna from the Weedout, obviously. And I'm here at the Solidarity Economy Festival. And, we're talking normal things that we would. Solidarity with workers, beautiful things in this world, combating violence. And I would just like Alexa to let everyone know what brings her joy.
Ooh, what brings me joy? Let's see. I love a good cup of matcha. I'm so basic. Matcha cup, I'll be happy. Ooh, be me.
I don't think that's basic. It's the little things, isn't it, in life?
Always the little things that bring me joy.
It's really nice to hear all these wonderful people's thoughts, and a lot of people echoed some very familiar things. One takeaway from people that sat down and recorded with us, and also people just that we talked to, not one of them said the police.
That's so true. And a lot of people said like community, or knowing my neighbors are there because there's we may not all get along, but we support each other. So I think that that was, I don't think anyone's mind immediately went to the Poe.
Yeah, no, we purposely chose those questions. So kind of focus on the positive, focus on the affirmative, and get people thinking about constructively as opposed to baiting their fear center.
And that was the theme of the festival too.
Right. So it's fascinating that nobody said police, and joy was overall other people was bringing them joy. I mean, I'm just obviously people had very specifics, but to me, it was about what I kept hearing was it's knowing you're not alone, being around people you care about or not care about either. As some people said, like, I don't necessarily like everybody is even at this festival, but I want them to have housing, food, and clean water, and I want them to thrive. We don't all have to be best friends.
Of course, I think it's leading with love rather than hate. I don't have to get along or even like everyone in the room, but I do want them to thrive because I think overall as a society, that's how we do divest and stop needing, we don't need the police, but like it gives people the ability to have the things they need. And for us to feel safe, especially the people who don't feel safe um, already.
And as Joanna and many others said, it is about leading with love and values. And I think we can both comfortably say, like, Joanna and I have had very loud disagreements with people, people that we work with, people that we respect. And at the end of the day, even if I vehemently disagree on something and I'm disappointed they don't see my point of view, I don't want anything bad to happen. And it's all because we're all leading with the end goal of safety for all. So again, the point is, everybody, when we asked a question that was purposely supposed to be hopeful or constructive or something that people can put their hands on, you notice they don't default to state systems or police.
Absolutely not. And a lot of people, because I think their values were based on community and connection with others, I felt the same camaraderie. Like, I do not feel unsafe typically in America. And I know as a white woman, that's a privilege. As a Black person, you may feel unsafe actually up like from the police may be the reason you feel unsafe along with other oppressive systems and people. But I personally feel, especially in Massachusetts, like the people that would make me unsafe would potentially be the police. So it was nice to hear people weren't like feeling super unsafe in their community. And like you said, that they really, really longed for having connection in some way and being heard and all of those things that are super important, I think, to all of us at our core and help us to thrive.
Absolutely. So the Solidarity Economy Festival, thank you for everybody for inviting us, for being welcoming to us. It's microphones make people uncomfortable, and I was shocked that as many people were so welcoming and willing to participate. So thank you for everybody that took the time to actually record us, and also to the people that didn't feel necessarily comfortable recording with us, but also was comfortable talking to us and willing to talk about abolition and community care. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas. It's always wonderful because, again, we may have a podcast, and the concept of we're making you listen to us through a microphone, through your headphones. We care about other people's points of view. We purposely, when we have guests on, we let them have a lot of space to breathe. So we also appreciate that y'all at home listening give us a space to breathe and talk. And also the people specifically this weekend at the Solidarity Economy Festival approached us, came up to our booth, asked us about what's going on. And
yes, thank you to everyone there who spoke to me, who didn't speak to me, who was just there. And yeah, you're right. A super special thank you to Bridget and Caleb. They were essential to us being
street
able to
team.
Yeah, street team.
So weedout is official. We have a street team. Reach out to us if you want to join our street team next time we are at an event.
Absolutely.
Also, as always, go to our website, www.theweedout.com, as all citations for each episode. Follow us on social media at The Weedout or at The Weedout 413 on Instagram and TikTok, actually. But Facebook and Twitter, you can find us at The Weedout. Regardless, you can always just go to our website. All the links are there. So really simple. We try to make it easy for you. Feel free to support our podcast, but whether by reviewing, telling your friend about it, sharing our link tree, sharing our social media, sharing our resources, or go to our Patreon and give us a follow there. And any support is greatly appreciated. So in perpetuity, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us in any way that you do. At the very least, get the word out about us so we can share more worker class victories, more knowledge on how to approach the carceral complex. And we're not done with this episode, but we just want to thank you all for sticking with us. The numbers don't lie.
They don't actually.
No, they don't. Anyways, so we're gonna as always wrap up this episode with a nice little round of ghoulery and tomfoolery. And it's not so straightforward as ghoulery and tomfoolery. Our friend Andrew Khmer, journalist, who has the Mass Dump, that's the name of their Substack and their website, so the massdump.com, or you can go to andrewqmr.substack.com. But all that's linked on the Mass Dump website, so we will link this in the show notes. On their Substack, they released an article saying the Mass Dump sues Northwestern Massachusetts DA for withholding names of cops accused of crimes. So the ghoulery and tomfoolery is not about Andrew at all. It's about the fact that Andrew is a diligent public records requester and keeps diligent notes and knows the system in and out. This DA is withholding documents that belong to the people. That's the ghoulery and tomfoolery. That these prosecutors, aka the top cop, think that they can do this kind of thing. And it's not just DAs that do this. I mean, obviously, like Massachusetts legislator and executive branch and courts are very secretive. They do not give out records, and they should. That's a different discussion for a different day. And I'm sure Andrew could definitely explain a lot of that. He has in the past, and I'm sure he'll continue to come on here and tell us about it. So hopefully we can get Andrew scheduled to come on the show, talk about this particular article that he wrote, and talk about the lawsuit that he and the Mass Dump filed against Northwestern DA David Sullivan. David Sullivan really, yeah, I mean, it's like, this is great news, but who's gonna pay for the litigation,
Oh, so it's Andrew
No. Who's gonna pay,
Oh, the taxpayers. The taxpayers
defend itself against Andrew's claim.
The taxpayers. And also, I think people should be, I know people are aware. I've seen people locally sharing Andrew's work. He's an incredible investigative journalist who, just like you said, knows public records up and down. So he was able to find a lawyer to represent him. But yes, taxpayers will have to pay for what people think, who this man is considered a progressive DA. And in some ways he is, like, he won't prosecute people for weed possession things, and he doesn't send addicts to jail. Like, he does try to be a decent quote unquote top cop. But when you look at the transparency stuff, it's like, well, okay, and he's hiding names of police officers supposedly who may have had issues in the past, either in the community we are in now or in other communities, and then moved here to become a police officer. So it's very shady. It's not surprising.
And progressive DAs, quote unquote.
I know, but like, people were like, when I was, people were telling me all of that when I was like talking to them about it, like, oh, he's a supposed progressive.
And compared to people on his right flank, he is progressive. So
he is, because some people would send all of the people I mentioned just straight to jail or prosecute them and waste more money from the taxpayers.
Right. And the other,
he's just doing that in a different way. He's just wasting money in a different way by not being transparent.
My cynical point of view is, maybe people like this, DAs like this, know that the rank and file cops that are the ones doing the arresting for the petty drug stuff, the low level stuff that these progressive DAs say they don't waste their time with. Maybe it's because they know those people are fucked up and it's going to be more work than it's worth. And
they literally might.
They can't trust their work. So like, why the fuck am I going to bother? So like, again, the cops are defunding us. I guarantee you good prosecutors and people that are higher up know better than to trust a street level cop, even though they rely on them a lot. And they don't want to. They also don't want to expose them.
No, you don't want to. Yeah, exactly.
Because that takes the whole legitimacy from the bottom of the pyramid to the top where they are. It really.
Well, and in Greenfield right now, they're already basically legitimized already by themselves. So yeah, it would look terrible. And I'm guessing some of the names of the police officers involved in some of the shit in Greenfield are probably on that Brady's list. My assumption, no idea. Just my assumption.
I think it's a safe assumption. I mean, I also laugh that they have a special list that they choose, that they keep, but they don't necessarily, as Andrew shared with us on previous episodes, they keep, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't use that cop's affidavits or police files, right, to solidify a case.
It's insane.
My thing is, like, I think all cops should be on a Brady list. So
Well, like, I agree, but like, honestly, if you're someone who, like, if you're trying to, like, I guess reform it, you would hope that like this list is utilized in the way that it's meant to be, and that like these people aren't considered ethical individuals. Like, you wouldn't even want them like draining money out of your town's budget, hopefully, like even on payroll. So it just shows you that like even when you try like small things to reform, it doesn't work at all.
you can't, and this quote is going to haunt me to the day I'm dead. You can't dismantle the master's house, the oppressor's house, with their tools. You have to create new tools. So that's why reform of police and incarceration, founded on white supremacy, to do it legally, to do it in a way that the status quo can stomach, it's a moot point. You can't do it because you can't use those tools to fix the white supremacy based policing institution. That's why Joe, abolitionists come to that conclusion of, I guess only way out of this is to abolish that.
Yeah,
Like,
and just it's reallocating funds. Exactly, find something different. Like, we're not saying like there won't be anything else. But the system currently, like there are a number of other people, places, states, towns, municipalities that have tried reform, and it's not an idea we've come up with. We say it every time we talk about it. And we just hope others will get to this point.
And this is really important when we're in our national discourse and our global discourse, but specifically in the United States, how loosely we talk about caging people. At the same time,
violent.
At the same time, trying to link drag queens and trans people to being groomers and pedophiles. Pedophilia is already technically illegal and a jailable offense. And if you're linking drag queens to grooming, that the next logical step is to jail them and potentially exterminate them, at least exterminate them from daily society. I think putting somebody in jail is a fucking death sentence, even if you don't flip the switch, right? I think it's so detrimental to people's psyche, mental health, to their sense of self.
And research shows that, not even just your thoughts. So I just want the audience to know that your thoughts are valid, and research shows it.
It's about frame, and it's like sending somebody to war. It's
awful.
They never come back the same.
Their families impacted. It impacts entire communities.
Yes, and then for example, we talk about a place like the Flats in Holyoke, where they're ramping up their police presence with things like ShotSpotter, and just as policy, when you arrest people from a predominantly brown neighborhood at higher rates, and you put fathers or mothers in jail and displace their families, then their properties that do exist lose value because these communities are so destabilized to a point. Then venture capitalists and vulture gentrifiers come in and kick them all out. That's the final nail, right? I mean, isn't that what happened in Brooklyn? Put all these black guys in jail in the 70s, 80s, and 90s for crack cocaine at a longer rate than white men for cocaine.
Absolutely. It's the same substance.
And it's all part of the education process. It's war. It's colonialism. It's colonialism. I mean, this is essentially what we did to the Native Americans. And once we successfully pretty much destroyed whatever Native American nation existed or any of that through laws, legal means. That's why laws aren't.
Well, that's why laws are so like, come on, everyone.
Right. And we did the same. And then once the Native Americans, quote unquote that problem was solved. And it's ongoing today. They're not allowed to defend their own land from pipelines. The federal government just
I know that stuff. The water protectors are. Thank
it's
you.
every day.
Thank
It's
you
every day.
though
It's
to
ongoing.
them.
Yes,
They're
exactly.
some of the most amazing beings on this in this world.
And they have every legal right. Like if you're
They are literally trying to protect water for all of us. It's not even just them. They're the definition of they're the definition of living and leading with love, though. Right. They probably will never hear this, but they're, like I said, just amazing people and beings. They're just wonderful.
And then we turned that on our own people.
Mm-hmm. And we still are we're still, like you said, like we're still our government is violently attacking people trying to protect clean water. It's insanity. It's awful. It's terrible.
We're trying to protect a forest in Atlanta.
Yeah. Like any natural green thing, they want to, like the government wants to take away from communities, like things that we know we need, water, nature. It's just like eventually what's left but just violence.
Right. And to bring it full circle to why we're talking ghoulery and tomfoolery, withholding records is a form of violence.
It is
truthful to the people, and that leads to other consequences down the road that can be linked back to this.
Because it's like, what is he hiding? That feels like that's what it feels like.
Or do you? And let's even give benefit of the doubt. We don't have to, but let's give benefit.
Okay.
Your excuse. We're funded. All right, then stop fucking hiring more cops and hire more clerks.
Right.
We don't need more guns. Apparently, we need people to go through the fucking files.
Yeah, exactly.
That excuse either.
Or teach the cops, like if the cops are sitting at desks, like why can't they do some extra work? I don't know.
Joanna, we all know why they became cops. It's not because they're good at collating, all right?
No,
I know.
I realized what I was saying.
Right.
There's they can't do that. They're not gonna.
It's like that Seinfeld joke. Like they should have a broom.
Yeah.
If you're leaning, you should be sweeping. You know, whatever George says, and it's like kinda. Or we could just pay the DPW and not let them have a gun too. Because imagine if you made cops fucking sweep the street and somebody littered, they would fucking shoot them because of the personal indignation.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. That's like bringing the service industry. It's terrifying.
It's like all these people that want to defund education, fire these teachers for grooming and indoctrinating their children to solve fucking mass shootings. They want to give these same people guns.
Well, and
also, the last person I want to give a gun is somebody that's been on 4 hours sleep and been dealing with 30 kids all day. That's the last person I want to have a fucking gun for their sake and for everybody's sake. Because they might just go out to the car and not go home. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's bad.
Because they're getting paid $34,000 a year to try to educate, 30 kids. But yeah, let's just introduce more guns to the situation. Anyways, so Andrew Quamir is a legend. He's got legendary status over here. Thank you for holding these people accountable. But remember, everybody, for every victory we have, and this is a symbolic victory, the fact that he was able to get somebody to help him, a lawyer that also has a sense of justice, and also putting all this together to prove paper trail. And all Andrew did, likely, I'm just guessing, is just he, over the years, kept track what he did and get back, what he didn't get any response to. And he's probably going to show a system or a lack of want to be transparent. So kudos to him for all that work. He's not getting paid for it. So if you don't have the money to support the Weed Out, that's fine. And if you ever have money, we have no problem with you kicking money to people like Andrew Quamir, Dusty Christensen, the Shoestring, and don't give WWLP or Mass Live or CNN or Fox News your clicks. That's another way. Just don't give them fuck them.
Honestly, and I wouldn't even give to I wouldn't even give to like WAMC at this point. And I know that they do some good reporting, but when I found out Alan Chartuck stepped down recently and he was making a $350,000 a year salary, I just feel like they don't really need that as much as the like really, really local independent journalists. If one person's able to make that almost as much money as the president, they're probably okay.
Yeah,
I know that they're public and like it's a nonprofit, et cetera, potentially, but this is the problem with nonprofits. That's an absurd amount of money to be making. Yeah.
and I don't want to speak out of school, and I will say I have no idea what their finances are, but I guarantee you, Andrew Quamir and Dustin Christensen are not making.
They're not making that. Nope. So give your money to those people, or they're shoestring far more over even NPR, or
just give them your clicks.
yeah, or share their stuff. I'm just saying, if you can give, try to give to the people who really are doing the investigative reporting that may be independent, and also otherwise, like Spencer said, like sharing and telling others about the work that's going on is huge. Like just getting more followers and exposure for these stories that people have worked so hard on is really big too.
So please engage local journalism. The ghoulery and tomfoolery is the fact that Andrew felt compelled to actually take this to court. And we've had him on previous episodes. He says there's a lot of fights not worth fighting. So this must have been worth it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously going to be an expense of time. Time is money. So that's going to be a thing. And kudos to the people helping him on the legal side. Thank you for your help and your they'll never hear this, but it's important that not all lawyers are bad, I guess, is what what we can say. We happen to know a few good ones, but the law is the law and it's not morality. But the people enforcing laws probably should be following the laws. So I don't want to hear I don't want to hear nothing from this DA. It's like, bro, you can't even fucking send an email. And you want to lock people up for anything, really. You want to take people's liberty away, and you can't even fucking show us your emails. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like the do as I say, not as I do bullshit from parents wasn't even acceptable to me as a child. So it's absolutely not acceptable to me if your salary comes from tax dollars. Like, just fucking send me your entire like hard drive. Is how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should have an episode sometime in the future where we talk about if we could for a day. I know that's totally against how we are, and then no dictators, no masters. But if I could just wave a one thing, I'd be like, all right, if we have to keep this stupid fucking system this way as is, everything should be available as soon as it's created. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's a nuclear document, maybe we shouldn't have fucking nukes if you need to keep it so secret. That's kind of my argument for that. But anything we're paying for, I should be able to be like, who clocked in yesterday or last week at Holyoke PD? I should be able to, did they work their whole scheduled shift? I should have access to auditing them. And just giving us access will ease a lot of people's, that if you want to rebuild trust, just give people access to the information. You'll get a lot more trust.
Transparency is start there.
It's a good way to gain trust. That's it. So this DA Sullivan,
first of all, he's in trouble. Girl, you're in danger. That's all I feel about him.
But the real tragedy is none of this money is going to come out of this motherfucker's pocket. And I know public service don't get paid a lot of money, so I'm not saying, they get paid enough.
The DA is doing okay, though.
They're doing okay, right? But he could probably make more money as a white shoe lawyer somewhere. You know what I mean? As somebody doing other business. But regardless, you're a cop, so figure it the fuck out. And the weed out will not kiss your ass. So show us your receipts. Respect Andrew. It's like really, it's just also super disrespectful. Like, this person is staying on top of you, and you can even argue like inefficiency, lack of funding for a good office, yada, 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 all that stuff, right? Andrew, I've seen how they organize, and this guy's got spreadsheets. He makes it real easy. He knows exactly how things get lost, so he avoids all that. He's talked about it on the episode. So I'd love to hear his updated story. So hopefully we can get him to come back on. Keep a lookout for that. When there's updates to the story, we will provide said updates as it moves through the process. So Gooler and Tomfoolery with the weed out. That's it. That's it this week. So thanks for showing up to the Solidarity Economy Festival. Thank you for listening. Also, keep weeding out the nonsense. And Joanna, before we sign off, what do you got to say?
Thank you, Andrew, and everyone take care.